We were pretty famous back in high school.
Trust us. Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast?
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous. I see. And then we are using salt and pepper to taste.
That's what the recipes usually call for.
Tumble dry low.
I never tumble dry on low.
You don't?
I always go full force.
I just got a new blanket and it says to dry on low heat. And there was one review that said that they ran it on a higher temperature and it sort of melted part of it. And they can't read the tag anymore because of it. So I'm going to try to adhere to that.
Which means you have to probably dry it several times to get it to be dry.
The funny thing is, you were doing some laundry today, as you reported to me.
I was. Mm-hmm.
I decided to zip over to the laundromat to wash this new blanket. And I discovered that if you click on the low temperature setting for the dryer, it just starts off at 30 minutes. And then every time you press the button, see on high temperature, when you press the button, it just it increases the time and you can just keep going and going and going. But on the low temperature setting, every time you press the button, it counts down. So the max amount you can have it in the dryer at the low temperature setting for some reason is 30 minutes.
Okay.
So right now, because of that and because of our recording right now, I'm going to be that guy that I'm not there. And my stuff is going to be sitting in the dryer, but there's plenty of dryers. So I don't think I'll be hindering anyone from completing their laundry. But my stuff's just going to be hanging out in there.
I've never been that person. Whenever I'd go to a laundromat, I would sit there and just wait for my stuff. I think the most I ever did was I went down to a store and back.
Oh, see, I mean, I'll throw a load in the dryer and crank it up to an hour and a half, and then I'm 10 minutes away, so I'll just head home and just chill at home until it's done. Then an hour and a half comes, maybe hour and 20 go by, and then I'll drive back.
You're a much more trusting person than I am.
Yes,
I wouldn't leave my stuff there because I just wouldn't trust that somebody wouldn't fuck with my shit.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
You are in
now
Chicago.
You're gonna be thinking about that.
No,
you're gonna be thinking about that the whole time.
No, I don't
my
think
blanket
this
was there. Somebody's gonna steal my blanket.
I haven't looked at the police reports lately, but I don't hear a lot of laundry theft in the city of Savage.
Well, blankets, might be more stolen than others. Don't zoom in on yourself during blankets.
Why not?
Blankets. Oh,
dramatic effect. Hey, everyone. Definitely by the time this comes out, but right now, you can go to YouTube and check out episode 175. 175.
That's the one you told me.
Yep. Okay, good.
So I hope so.
Yep. We talk about hackers on that one.
Oh, yeah.
And
we did talk about hackers on that one.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
We did. The
movie, not the, people that
the profession, the people that do that. It's a hobby. I mean, I don't know. Can you be officially hired to be a hacker? I guess if you work for intelligence organizations, they might hire you to be someone who will figure out ways to prevent hackers from being able to penetrate their firewalls. Cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think a lot of retired hackers are probably work in that industry now. There's plenty of other people that are still just hackers that do stuff. I know that there's a lot of YouTube channels that do scam baiting, where they'll basically call up those big scam call centers that are mainly in India, and they'll screw with them and they'll infiltrate their systems and all this kind of stuff. And there's one pretty big one that I can't remember the name of his YouTube channel, but he does these big sting operations where he'll get a ton of people together and they'll just go after one facility for like a whole weekend straight, just nailing them, shutting down their computers and all this stuff. And he hires actual hackers that come on and like will do the dirty work of doing the illegal stuff of infiltrating their systems and like setting up programs that like destroy their infrastructure and all this stuff. So when he's doing his YouTube videos and he's like filming all the people that are there doing stuff, the hackers are the only ones when you can never see their faces.
Right.
Because they're the ones not doing the legal things. I
think I have seen one example of this. I don't think it's the same thing I don't think it's the same channel you're talking about, but it was some guy who called one of these numbers and they were able to find out their real name and where they are and what's country they're in and all that kind of stuff. And they were asking them questions about, well, who is so-and-so? It says here that you know a so-and-so that lives over in this area. And they're like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who that is. There's no one here by that name. Yeah, but it says right here, so that's a big thing, huh? A big YouTube thing?
Oh, huge. And they'll access their webcams. So all of a sudden their webcam will pop up and they'll see pictures of them. They'll be able to access the CCTV video footage of inside their call centers a lot of times.
Wow.
And I've seen ones where they have programs set up that will basically just flood their phone system with calls to the point where eventually the phone system shuts down completely.
What?
So it's just temporary. That's like a temporary thing. It'll shut them down for a day or two, but shutting them down for a day or two is thousands and thousands of dollars that they're not stealing from people.
It's a good thing. It's also a little scary just because, they're using those skills for good in these videos, but it's still scary that someone could just so easily do that.
Oh, it's insane what they can do.
What's stopping them from doing it? What's stopping them from, on the side of putting out these videos, then going in and incognito getting, some other people's information and stealing themselves,
Yeah. But I've seen a lot of them where they'll like intercept calls that the call centers are making to people, and they'll get the phone number and then they'll call that person and say, hey, this is what's going on. Do not let them don't do what they're telling you to do. Blah, blah, blah. They'll stop that. They've done a lot of stuff where they drop off, like, because a lot of them are like, oh, you owe this money, I need you to go get it in gift cards, and then give me the gift card numbers. And somehow people are stupid enough to fall for that stuff. So they'll like intercept those people. Like if they're in the area, they'll like go and intercept those people in person, or they've found out where like drop-offs happen for like money and stuff, and they'll like they'll call the cops, and then the cops go and bust those people and stuff.
Nice.
It gets pretty crazy.
Yeah. I got a call. I think I was getting in the car to go for a long drive somewhere, and I got a call from my credit card that said there was some mysterious charge, and they asked me if I recognized it. It was from some strange country that they pinged it on. And I said, yeah, that wasn't me. And then they were all about, well, you better, we'll better agree to send you out a new card to replace the card you have. And they were asking me to agree to it. And normally my app alerts me of everything every time I use it. And so my history didn't show any declined or even attempts to make a purchase of the amount they were quoting. So I said, let me deal with this some other time. I'm in the middle of something right now, but I'll handle it. And so they sort of reluctantly left the call at that point. And then I looked at the number they called me from. I looked up the correct customer service number for that company, that card company. It matched, but I dialed the number and reached the actual people, and they said, yeah, no, there's no charge of this kind on your card. We don't know what this is about. So,
because they can basically make dummy numbers that pop up. Because if you ever notice, like when you get a scam, or you get like, when you get like what are they, scam likely phone calls that come through on your phones?
Yeah.
It's always like an area code nearby where your area code is from all the time. And then
all the time.
Yeah. And they're always bogus. So if you call them back, it either goes to a number that doesn't exist or it goes to some random person's number if you call it back. Because they just, it's ridiculous.
It's hard because I almost never answer the phone when it's just some phone number that comes up, especially when it says spam risk. But earlier today, my phone rang. It said spam risk. I just answered it because usually it's just me going hello, 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 and then nothing
hanging up.
Eventually hanging up. This was an automated call from for me to confirm my dog's grooming appointment on Tuesday. So I got lucky there, but sometimes they are legit, even though it says
maybe it was a scam.
Maybe my dog's gone. Oh no, she's back there on my bed. You can see her everywhere.
No, I used to just answer every spam likely call or scam likely call just to see, just to fuck with them if I could. And then eventually I have this thing that I can use that answers my phone for me, and it just changes it into text, and it'll read if they whatever they say, it'll text it back to me. And then I can respond through text, so I don't actually talk to them. So ever since I did that, that's all the further they get to is I answer it with that thing. It starts to talk, and then the phone hangs up, and I'm like, nice. All right, didn't waste my time anymore.
Yeah, I usually answer hoping it's that one girl from about 10 years ago that I gave my phone number to, and just hoping that she'll come around and call.
Just holding out hope from 10 years ago.
Yeah, she's could be slow.
A lot can happen in 10 years. She could be slow.
She could be what?
You said she could be slow. She could be slow after 10 years.
Yeah, she could be slow moving.
10 years.
Yeah, she be a slow person.
Got a head injury.
Now she's kind of slow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now she has trouble going up and down the stairs.
Yeah,
maybe.
She might be just fully hooked up to a machine. And
maybe she tries to read the numbers that I wrote down, and her mind scrambles them, and she can't. She's trying to dial me, but
mind.
Maybe she can't successfully dial my number because in the way she sees them, they're all out of order.
Yeah, and she's only used to rotary phones.
Yeah, and those just aren't around anymore. Well, at least for us, I think in her head they probably are. She's probably trying to dial her cell phone as a rotary phone.
Right.
And it turns out
probably an app for that.
She just keeps, I'm sure there is, but she keeps spinning some sort of, game wheel to try to win a coupon. Maybe she's on the Temu app.
Coupon.
I don't know. I don't know. Those things.
Classic phone coupons.
Well, no, those things where it's like, let's say you're on an app or something and you go onto it and it's like spin for a chance to get, 50% off or 10% off or whatever. So you'll click it and it'll spin, and then it'll invariably, if it's a phony website or app, it'll land on the highest possible discount all the time. But if it's a legit one, you're most likely going to get the lowest possible discount offered on that one. So happy shopping.
Negative 5%.
Yep. We will add 5% to your order, and it does not count as gratuity. Please tip your delivery driver.
And we will also tax that.
Oh yeah, and we'll probably tax your tip on the driver too. Yeah, it'll be.
It's one thing I've realized it a few times, but went out to eat yesterday, and
you realize that
sometimes when they. Well, no, I'm getting to what I realized.
Oh.
Sometimes they'll put down at the bottom like, 20%, 22%, or 25% gratuity is this much. And I always forget that they do the gratuity based off of pre-taxed.
Yes.
I have never tipped in my life based on the pre-tax. I always do it on the total.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always tipping 20% on the absolute total of the bill, which includes tax. So I realized that when I've been tipping 20% all these years, I've actually been tipping more than 20% all these years. And I was like, oh yeah, I always forget that. And it feels weird to go back now and do it the other way, because then I feel like I'm actually cheating the server out of money. And long story short, I wish the US would get away from tax or from the tipping culture.
Yeah.
We just need to pay servers and a livable amount of money. Get away from fucking tipping culture. It's like,
well,
it's stupid because it's like, hey, all right, we're paying them this bullshit, and now not only are you paying for the service you got, but now you need to pay more money so that you can pay our employees for doing their job.
Well, but you know what will happen.
You know what I mean?
You know what will happen.
Yeah.
The price of the meals will go up dramatically.
Oh, huge. Yeah.
So it's
all a show.
But
even though prices of meals have skyrocketed in the last 4 years anyway.
This will make them go up even more. So this way, yeah, it's kind of crummy that you're sort of deciding how much this server gets to make or take home in that day. But it's kind of like you're given versus it all being piled into the entree price, which you have no say over. You now have a little bit of a say as to how much it costs versus the alternative where you wouldn't have the option to say, yeah, I'm not going to tip anything this time. I would never, unless they're
I would never do.
Unless they're terrible. I wouldn't do that.
The only way I would never give somebody a tip is if they literally like assaulted me or were just like straight up being rude on purpose or anything like that, because I think literally the worst I'll tip usually is 10 to 15% if the server sucks. But even then, I usually still just do a minimum of 20% every time.
I kind of land on 20% all the time.
Yeah. I used to always do 15%, and then I was just like, no, 20%.
I don't know what I would do if someone was like overtly rude or something like that.
Right.
I guess I never considered that. Because
more than likely just complain and then probably get a free fucking meal out of the deal anyway.
Yeah, I went to Punch Pizza the other day with my son, and they brought his pizza out a little bit ahead of mine, and then they came out and they said, "Oh, sorry for the wait, sir. The first attempt was not to our standards," and they brought me the pizza. Then they handed me a little coupon for some money off the next one. I didn't have to. Nice. They just preemptively did that. I didn't mention anything. I didn't say, "Hey, is mine coming soon?" Or I didn't say a word. I was just waiting patiently for my food, and then they just handed me a little coupon, which is pretty cool.
I had a situation once. This was very many years ago, where we ordered some Pizza Hut, and I went to go pick it up, and when the pizza came out, they're like, you ordered a large pizza. For whatever reason, it came out it came out smaller than what a large was supposed to come out as. For whatever reason, it like shrunk dramatically while cooking. So they're like, oh, so we have another pizza that's about to come out. You can just take that one too. And I'm like, cool, great.
Yeah.
So I got two pizzas. I got basically a large and a medium pizza for the price of a large pizza.
I was going to say, what a weird...
Unfortunately.
The weird thing is, why wouldn't they just say, oh, we accidentally brought you a medium? We made you a large, trust us, but it shrunk down to a medium size.
I don't know what it was. I don't know what really happened, but it was really weird. But so I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Took the pizzas, went home. The small large pizza was fine. The regular large pizza was so severely undercooked that we had to just throw it out.
Well, they were worried about shrinking.
Doughy as hell.
They were worried about it shrinking, so they're like, "Oh, we better go easy on this one." Maybe the oven was too high,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's like when you do laundry and you're trying to purposely shrink a sweater or something. What do you make it cold? Like you wash it cold and then dry it on super high or something. I don't know how you make clothes shrink, but they did something like that. They made the pizza extremely cold and then cooked it on a really, really high temperature.
I've never tried to intentionally shrink laundry before.
Oh yeah, it happened. People do it.
I remember what I used to do whenever I would buy a new shirt, like a new t-shirt or something.
Mm-hmm.
I would go, well, I'm just going to throw it in the wash and throw it in the dryer. We'll see how it shrinks. If it still fits, great. Awesome. If not, then I just won't wear that shirt. But I'm like, I figure at some point I can try to be careful every time and go at a lower temperature, or maybe just air dry it and hang it up. But I'm like, I know at some point I'm going to accidentally throw it in the dryer on the normal drying cycle. Yeah. So might as well just get it out of the way right away. So So there were several shirts where I'm like,
prior to ever wearing it, I'm gonna wash it before I ever wear it.
I think I would wear it once after buying it and then go to wash it. And then I would go, well, time to try it, see what happens. And so there's some times where I'm like, oh, great, this shirt still fits great. I love it. And then other times where I'm like, this one, the waist is a little low or high.
Yeah, I don't know if I've really ever had that issue. There's certain things I purposely just won't dry ever, just based on risk of it maybe shrinking or if it's delicate or something like that. But I'll usually, everything just goes in, just wash it, wash it and dry it. Eventually they'll just wear out over time because I've worn them too many times.
I like how washing machines have all these crazy settings now, where it's like, it's so hyper focused and hyper specific on what type of laundry you should use and how you can wash things. Every tag, wash cold with light colors, tumble dry low.
Yep.
Unless it says dry clean only, but that the clothing manufacturers are not jumping on board with whatever fine-tuned dialing you can do on these washing machines.
I think it maybe is the clothes that you purchase, because you're not the type of person who buys like super high-end clothing. Like you're not going to boutiques that have very like specialized like a special pair of jeans that cost $700 fucking dollars. Well, you don't wash those jeans because they're probably raw denim. You can't wash raw denim. You can only dab it slightly with a damp cloth and hope you don't ruin them.
Yeah, it's a sponge.
It's for shit like that.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I suppose maybe I just buy cheap garbage clothes.
I wasn't saying that. I was just saying you're not the type of person who's going to buy a $400, $500 pair of jeans.
That's
Sean,
correct.
You're holding up that collar of that shirt, which is probably at most a $30 shirt.
I don't recall how much it was, but I just wanted to point out that this is J. Crew. Okay. So.
Yeah, but did you go to J. Crew to buy it, or did you go to like
I went
Marshalls?
To an outlet. I went to a J. Crew outlet store.
Oh, J. Crew outlet. Okay. So you did go to J. Crew. You just went to the J. Crew store that J. Crew doesn't talk about.
Pretty much. And I have a couple.
You went to the J. Crew store where all the stuff that didn't sell from the previous season goes to.
It's just because it didn't. It's just the stock was too high. There's too much in stock. So it's not that there wasn't a popular style.
It's probably one of those things where J. Crew's like, oh, limited item, so they put like 4 of those in the regular J. Crew stores, but then you can go to the outlet and there's like 78 of them.
Yeah. And they're like, well, the people that shop at the outlet versus the people that shop at the regular store, they're never going to interact with each other. So they won't know.
Exactly.
These people are too good for these people. So no, I get it. I will say that, this is a button-up collared shirt, but the I don't know, the front part where the buttons are, that will, without fail, take it out of the wash, it'll be like wrinkled up. Even if I throw it in all by itself, throw it in the dryer all by itself, it's somehow always wrinkled up here, and I have to iron it if I want it to look nicer. But my button-up collared shirts from Banana Republic do not do that. So these J. Crew shirts might be a little bit lower quality than the BRs.
Possibly. All of my button-up collared shirts
are dusty.
They're that too. I haven't worn them because I bought a bunch of them and then I put a bunch of weight back on and they don't fit me nicely anymore. So
I see
I'm waiting to hope and lose weight.
I see it's the last day of June and you are again still wearing a long sleeve black shirt.
Oh, no, I threw this on because it got pretty cool. It got pretty cold today for standards of the middle of the summer. It was 67. It was the high today. And then I was doing a bunch of cleaning and then I got really hot and sweaty. So then I closed all the windows and cranked my AC back up. So it got a little chilly in here. So that's why I'm just like, I'll just throw a sweater on real quick.
The funny thing is, just to pull back the curtain a little bit, I just uploaded that. Oh, the curtain's gone.
Yeah, I took my curtains down.
That's part of the cleaning, I bet.
Yes.
I was just editing episode 175 for YouTube. And so then that was the last bit of videos I had downloaded from Squadcast. So I just went to start downloading 176 through what we have now. And Download your video, that black shirt, that black hat. Next video, that black shirt. That I mean, it's like you wear the same thing every time.
Literally do. Yeah. I'm a fucking cartoon character. I wear the exact same clothes every fucking day. Amazingly enough, I only have 2 of these.
Wow.
I also have 2 of these hats. This one's for work, though.
Oh, your work
because it's old. Yeah, well, because it's older and it's all beat up, so I'm just like, oh, that'll be my work hat now. So I bought a new one.
Okay.
So this is my yeah. It's like it's like after school clothes. This is my after work hat.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this is my going out hat. That's my going to work hat.
Going out.
But no, yeah, when you leave the house, other than work, I leave the house.
Oh yeah, you did.
I just don't do things.
You did laundry.
No, well, that's going down to the basement.
Oh, you don't have to. Okay, because I remember before there was a laundromat. I remember before there was a laundromat you would go to that was close to.
Yeah, that laundromat's not there anymore. It's an Athletico now.
Oh
no, like I have a bunch of other stuff, but like I said, I like put on weight in the last couple of years and can't fit a lot of the stuff. Or I can fit it. It's just not flattering on me. So I have a lot of nice shirts and other things that I will wear that I can't wear right now. I do have some like t-shirts and other things that I will occasionally wear in the summer so that I'm not just wearing a sweatshirt all the time.
Yeah, it's funny. I
just so happened to put this black fucking sweatshirt back on today. Yes. So everybody on YouTube, probably if you're watching all these videos on YouTube, you might think we just filmed them all in one day.
No,
and Sean just has the need to constantly go change his clothes in between every episode.
I'm a diva like that. I do costume changes in between songs. Yeah.
I mean, I purposely wore like that yellow sweater one day, and then you happen to be also wearing yellow that same day.
Yeah, the one yellow shirt I own.
Yeah. I think I was wearing a maroon shirt in an episode that you haven't gotten to yet.
Oh yeah.
So there's minor changes that happen.
Now I'm looking at a picture of from the last time I was in Chicago with Josh and Snooze. You are wearing a different color hat, but you are wearing a black shirt. I can't tell if you just have the sleeves pushed up or if it's a t-shirt, but your elbow is exposed.
Possibly a t-shirt.
Yeah. But yeah, black shirt.
Which hat did I have on? My gray one?
It maybe a light brownish color or greenish. I don't know. It kind of matches your pants.
Probably my green one. Yep. It's green.
Green. It's a green hat.
Yep. I have a black, two different grays, blue, red, and did I say green?
Green.
Yeah, I think and they're all the exact same hat, but different colors. So I can usually coordinate with whichever pants I'm wearing. Very
nice. Very nice. Mm-hmm. I need to get another, I have my one like baseball hat, but it's a tool hat. And so I don't want to wear it if I'm wearing I have 2 tool shirts or 3. So I don't want to wear it if I'm wearing a tool shirt. So I got
only 3 tool shirts nowadays too. Wow.
Well, I was
used to be way more than that.
Well, yeah, in high school, but I went at least a decade and a half without any. I'm like, I didn't have any band shirts of any kind.
Wow.
But within the last few years, I decided to order some off their website. And, but yeah, I don't want to wear a tool hat and a tool shirt at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be embarrassing.
I need to get some other sort of hat. There's like a baseball style hat that is basically non-branded or non-specific that I can wear with pretty much anything.
Fairly easy to find.
Yeah, I just, I haven't pulled the trigger on it. It's not a completely necessary purchase, so I'm like, I'm in no rush.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Especially like when I keep my hair shorter, I don't even have to worry about wearing a hat anyhow.
My hair is shorter than yours, and I wear a hat every day.
Right. Well, that's a choice.
I also have a receding hairline that I don't care to
advertise.
Yeah. It's not like awful, but it's bad enough that I don't like it.
Well, I mean, I know
it's a lot easier.
I know I've come back over here.
Wear a hat
over the years, gone back a little bit.
Yeah, mine's doing that, and it's thinning out there-ish.
This little gray up in the front here, whenever I even go shorter than this, like if I just buzz it completely, it does look like I'm thinning here because it's light. It's light gray here. So it does look like I have a little bit of a spot that's thinning.
That's the other thing too, is a lot of my hair is just a little bit lighter shade in this area too. So it also looks a bit thinner, like especially in the summer, like when I was a kid a lot too, the wings here would always get really light colored.
Yeah.
So that's always looks so much thinner than everything else. Even though like the only gray hairs I really have are a few stragglers in my beard.
Yeah. I got plenty of them.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to have them. I mean, hey, at least you're not Josh.
I am not.
Just a full gray head is insane.
I would take that over some circumstances, though. There's a gentleman.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman at my job. He's just completely bald on top and keeps it kind of long on the sides and the back.
Yeah,
I don't know why people do that, but
it's a weird look.
He does that, and it makes. I always just go, what if that were me?
I call it the Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it's like it's the type of style where it almost looks like it could continue around to the front and be a Friar Tuck type of a thing.
Nice.
But I always go, what if that were me? Would I try to hang on to as much as I have, or would I just buzz it all off and just be bald?
Yeah, I think
without actually being in that position, I can't say what I would do, but I would think that I would just get rid of it all.
Yeah, I think if mine keeps going back and getting worse, yeah, I'm not even like, yeah, you can wear a hat and then it looks like you have hair on the sides and stuff, but it's like at that point, just get rid of it. Just take it all down, go to the skin.
Well, because there's always that reveal. Like if you do just cover it up with a hat, there's that whoop, and they're like, people are like, oh wow, whoa, I didn't expect that, So
yeah,
it's almost like just get rid of it all, and there's no surprises.
Yeah, no offense to Mikey.
I didn't mention him.
I did.
I know.
I mean, he's only like
he doesn't listen.
He's still got it on the upper back of his head,
the back half.
Yeah,
it's a strange little setup he's got. Strange little
everything about
region.
That man is strange.
I know. I'm looking at this picture of us.
Let's not talk about his region.
Not the front region, the frontal region. You don't want to focus on that much, or his anterior region.
No. Before we don't get to it, Sean, you have 2 weeks worth of improv classes to talk about.
Oh, that's right. I do. I was thinking about this earlier, and I was trying to remember any highlights of stuff we've done.
Maybe this will be a short section.
It might be because we're a day away from doing a third since I've talked about it, so
right,
it's in the past. So did some similar games where you pretend to offer someone pie. Did I talk about this before? Yeah, I think I did.
We talked about spaghetti,
pie, and then the hawk. Then there was another one we did called like Zip, Zap, Zop or something, which is essentially the same thing. You say zip, and then they say zap, and then if you say zap to someone, they have to say zop, and if you say zop to someone, then you have to say zip, I believe. It's all about just being aware of someone trying to, quote, offer you something, and then you accept it,
right,
and then offer it to someone else. It's all about just paying attention and being aware of who's talking toward you, and anyway, all that kind of stuff.
And being fast with
it.
Quick after a while.
They speed it up, and you don't want to get confused because it's easy to get lost. Like, okay. And at some point, it worked out where I got both the spaghetti and the hawk, I think. And so I'm doing this, whoa, trying to juggle, act like I can't really handle all the stuff I'm carrying. Then we did a thing where, and I forget, I think this was last week, but we did a thing where you could use words, but you didn't have to. But it was all about, we just sort of had to wander around each other. Like we're on the, like people walking on the sidewalks and stuff, just passing by each other. But he would name off an emotion and a level. Mm-hmm. He would say, okay, we're going to be happy and we're going to be at a level 3. And so we walk around and we act like we're happy at a level 3. And so your interactions are like, oh, how's it going? Well, it's so nice out today, that kind of stuff. And you just walk from end to end, turn around, and you're just weaving in and around other people. And then he would change it to sadness and like level 5. And then he would go to anger and a level 1. And now let's do anger at a level 3. And so it's all about shifting your demeanor and your body language and how you even approach someone else walking, like you act like you're irritated and you're trying to avoid, like people are getting in your way and you're getting annoyed having to go around them and stuff like that. We did that for a little while, so that was kind of interesting. And then we did more of the getting 2 separate lines. And when this person comes up and says, what's in the box? And then the other person has to say, what's in the box? And you have to say, well, thank you. I've always wanted whatever this is for that reason, blah, 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 blah. Then we just sort of basic, like there's 2 chairs and you're in your 2 lines. And then when it's the 2 people in the front, you just go up and just kind of do mini scene work. You just do, someone will just say something and you just go off of it. And then, so we did a little bit of mini scene work at the end of 2 classes ago, and then just this last one we did a little bit of it too. Nice. Trying to remember anything that was kind of fun that I tried to come up with. At one point, for some reason, when I was waiting for my turn, I thought, and it's funny that I thought of it because the woman who was coming out just said, well, as we were walking up, she's like, I have nothing. She just goes, I've got nothing. So I thought, well, what if we're sitting at a desk together and like the company's cutting costs and we have to do tandem work computers now. So we each have to operate half the keyboard. And since she was sitting on the right, she was in charge of the mouse. So I'm sitting here telling her to maximize a window and she accidentally minimizes it. I'm like, okay, well, now we have to type up an email. So you handle the right side of the keyboard. Okay, we're going to type the. So T is for me. You type H now. I'll do E. And we could both do space, I guess. It was kind of going on like that for a little bit. And this one guy's like, oh, you're kind of creative. I'm like, oh, I just thought of something. But most of it, I was like in my head a lot. I'm like, I can't think of anything to do. I was kind of dreading my turn because I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got nothing.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. A lot of times it's like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. And you just hope that something comes out of.
Or you hope that, like, so this last class last week, we did the same thing toward the end, only it wasn't based on your turn in line. It was just any 2 or so people can go out and just start doing something. And so I was really hanging back at that one. Not that I'm trying to avoid it. I just, for some reason, these last 2 times, I was like, just not in the space for it. Like my head wasn't there.
Right.
So I went out once during that. It was toward the end, but there's this one guy that's a little overzealous about it and he's kind of awkward. Yeah. And he just sort of says some really bizarre stuff sometimes. And so he's a little hard to riff off of, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. You get those people that are like,
and I'm not saying that to say I'm some sort of pro.
No, but it's like, it's a different approach of improv, but it's kind of more of an annoying approach of improv where they're just like, I'll just go say something wacky and then everybody else will have to deal with it. And it's just like, that's not what makes good improv.
Yeah.
Just going out there and saying something weird.
Well, and
doesn't help a scene, doesn't create a scene. It just.
Like, I remember sitting out and watching when he was up with another person and they were in some scenario where they were going to have to like clean a giant toilet or something. And she's like saying something like, oh, well, now this is gross, but now we got to like really clean this thing. And I could tell she was just trying to get that going so that would be what they talk about, like how disgusting this is or whatever. And he's just like, oh, it's done. So he just like cut that down. He's shut it down right there. Like, oh, we're done now. I'm like, oh, well, okay. Well, now I guess she was heading somewhere and he just didn't pick up on it. And
yeah, that's not yes-anding at all. That's just basically saying, I don't want this scene to go this way. So I'm going to just, ex machina this fucking situation, and I'm going to make the scene be what I want to be it to be about. And it's like, that's not what you're supposed to do at all.
based on what I've seen of him, I can tell that is not what he's trying to do. Is he's not trying to go, I don't want this to happen this way, so I'm going to cut it short and make it go somewhere else. I think he's just like, that's all he could think of to do in that moment.
He's just not creative.
Yeah, maybe. And again, this is not to say I'm sort of professional.
No, and I
am not.
it's and that's the thing is like, it's a class.
Yeah.
Everybody's learning. So hopefully he can learn how to expand and not keep doing that kind of thing of just like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to end the scene. You know, it's like, that's the whole point of having a scene partner is throw something wacky at them, you know, like, my toilet brush broke. Like, like create some sort of like drama that happens. That's like, oh crap, now we can't, like, how am I supposed to fix this? And it can be as simple as just like, well, here, we can use mine.
Yeah.
Like, but make it seem like a way more dramatic situation than it really is. Like, blow it out of proportion and like just do something weird with it. I mean, that's just off the top of my head of like one thing that could have been done, but it's like, I don't know, just anything but just end it. It's like, you'd never want to step on, if somebody's trying to get it to go somewhere, don't step all over what they're trying to do. Try to enhance what direction they're going in, because at least they're trying to go in some sort of a direction.
Yes. There was another point where we just had to step forward and say an I statement, and it could be true or it could be not true. You could say something like, I love pancakes. And then it would just go to someone else. And then they would say, I killed the president. No one said that. And I'm not saying that on record on the show. For some reason,
it's been a while since the president's died of unnatural causes.
That's
so
true.
I think you're okay.
Knock on wood. Anyway, and so we did that for a little bit. And then at some point, the teacher will, after you say your I statement, the teacher will go, why? Like if you say like, you know, I hate the rain, he would say, why?
Yeah.
Why do you hate the rain? And then you would have to expand on why and this and that. Yeah. So just to sort of just get your mind working, exercises.
All I can think of is the damn Star Wars thing of like, I don't like sand. It's coarse. It gets everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
That'd be a fun one to do.
Yeah. So far,
coarse. It gets everywhere.
So far, I'm trying to, aside from mentioning Lost, I guess I'm trying to avoid sort of
making cultural references.
Well, cultural references and ones that are kind of, you know, part of meme culture. Like that's something right. Everyone mentions from that movie. So
as you can tell, it was the first thing I thought of. So
yeah, we did someone mentioned something about Star Trek and Star Wars, and they were intentionally mixing it up a little bit. Like, you know, when they were on the Enterprise, when Chewie said this or whatever, you know.
The thing is like, I get trying to avoid that stuff. But if you're doing a show in front of an audience,
they'll like it probably.
Always gets a laugh. It'll get a laugh 100%. Pop culture shit will always, like, making references that the audience can like relate to.
Yeah,
will always get a laugh every time.
That's why. But I better learn a lot more pop culture references. I guess,
especially if it's like very recent stuff. Star Wars will always work.
Yeah, Star Wars, Star Trek.
Especially if you like goof around with Star Wars and do goofy stuff with it, people will laugh because it's very relatable. Everybody knows Star Wars, and if you get stuff wrong, they'll, you know, if you purposely get stuff wrong, they'll think it's funny, you know.
Well, like, because at some point when we had to go up and we had to say what's in the box or whatever. I know at some point you had to go up and thank someone for something, and then they had to just go, "Oh, you're welcome," this and that. So because the Star Wars and Star Trek thing came up earlier, I said, "Thanks for letting me borrow the first 2 seasons of Star Wars." Blah 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 blah. Because Star Wars
first 2 seasons
are movies. And it's for some reason at that point when we were done with that, the teacher asked each of us, "What do you like about Star Trek?" And then he goes to me, "What do you like about Star Trek or Star Wars?" And I said, "Oh, I love when the Enterprise traveled to Tatooine and picked up Luke to go on his adventure against I forget, there was some kind of species,
the Borg, the
Klingons maybe. I said something like that. I kind of mixed them up, and that got some chuckles. But I guess, Star Wars and Star Trek will always get that.
any pop culture shit will always it's an easy tactic.
Then I'm in trouble because I'm in trouble because I can't even do like Harry Potter stuff because I barely know any of that. So
well, that's the best thing is you don't know shit about Harry Potter, so you could go hard
on not knowing
just describing Harry Potter shit, and you can just make up anything you want and just say it's fucking and just act like it's fucking canon.
Yeah,
because you don't really know. So
like, I remember when Harry's bike chain broke and he had to walk it home, and remember his wand was back in Dumbledore.
I was gonna say, like, remember when he did that spell wrong and like Dumbledore spanked him? It was a really weird scene in the movies. Yeah. It was a whole chapter in the books. It was really weird.
I was gonna say it wasn't even in the books at all. They did that scene just for the movie.
I may have watched the wrong movie.
What was it called? Come up with some sort of porn parody of it.
Harry Potter.
Oh, sure. You thought about this before. Yeah.
No, that just literally popped into my head. Because I'm like, ooh, what would be a good one? I'm like, well, Harry could stay.
Harry Pecker.
But what can we change? Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Harry Pecker and the Sorcerer's
stones. I don't know. It's the one that's the closest to the actual title.
Yeah. It's Harry Pecker and the Sorcerer's cock. It's just they don't even try.
Yeah, they. I mean, they still use Harry and sorcerers, so it's 50-50. Half of it's real, half of it's parody.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
I'll give it to him this time. Good on you, porn movie producer.
Yeah.
So
his scar is just a penis.
Or what if it's not? That'd be there'd be somebody has done that for sure. They've made some Harry Potter porn and the scar on.
Yeah, I'm not about to Google it, but I'm sure.
I'm not either. I'm not going to do that. So I don't want to have some weird ads come up in my internet life.
Incognito mode.
Yeah, that's my default mode. Just kidding.
I mean, to be honest, it's not a bad idea to just default into fucking incognito mode because then they can't track and start sending you fucking ads for, if you look at a picture of a lightsaber and all of a sudden you get lightsaber ads.
Not a euphemism.
I looked at some lamps on Amazon and all of a sudden I'm scrolling through like YouTube shorts and an ad for that exact fucking lamp came up. I'm like, I hate this world.
Well, I mean, I wonder if it would be not quite as bad if Google didn't own YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was a direct link.
But it'll even cross over into Facebook and stuff. Like if you're just browsing somewhere, something you were looking at on or on this a shopping site or something, or just a Google search, will pull up as a Facebook ad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I hate Facebook. And
it's all connected.
Yeah. And I love when they freak out when, I'm sure they might do this with other companies too, but I pay attention to a lot of Apple stuff. And whenever Apple implements some other type of security measure that helps protect your privacy and makes it harder for people to track you and things like that, as far as website activity and all that, Facebook freaks out because they're all about just getting all the information they can about you to tailor all of these ads and all these other things for you. So there was even an ad for Facebook that was about how tailored ads are great for you. This is how they're wonderful because you could discover something that you didn't know you needed, and it's right there.
But here's the thing: if I don't know that I need it, I don't need it.
Right.
That's the thing. Stop trying to. It's the same bullshit that when I fucking was gonna. This dates me a lot, but I was gonna get I was looking at getting a second job for a while. This is way back in the day.
That's
way back
early 90s.
Well, no, this is early aughts. I was gonna get a second job for a while.
I'm waiting for the part that dates you.
So the second job that I applied for and went and did like an interview and things for was Radio Shack.
I was going to say Radio
That's
Shack.
And so I went to their like you basically apply and then you go sit in this fucking thing with a shit ton of other people and they like basically go through like, this is what it would be to work here and blah, 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 and you like fill out shit and do all this stuff. Their biggest fucking thing was no matter who came in that store, you try to sell them a cell phone, no matter what. You try to upsell them constantly. Try to upsell. I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, I literally like, I left that place and I didn't even like, I don't know if they ever like tried to call me back or anything, but I as soon as I left, I'm like, I'm not going to work there at all. I'm like, I will, if somebody comes into the store and they find what they want, or I ask them what they want and I help them find it, that's it for me. I'm going to sell them what they came for. I'm not going to try to fucking make people spend more fucking money that they don't want to actually spend. So, I mean, I would never, I've never wanted to do sales. I would never be good at sales because that's just not my personality of like, well, you liked that, right? You should probably also buy these 20 other fucking things.
Well, man, I'm sorry to let you know that unfortunately it doesn't seem like Radio Shack is a good fit for you, so we cannot offer you the position. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm totally fine with that because Radio Shack is in the shitter and gone.
I think they're hiring over at Circuit City.
Yeah, that's another great opportunity right there, right?
Yeah. I invested heavily.
Best Buy?
Best Buy is still around. There are still barely Best Buy stores. There are still stores, though.
There's one not very far from me, actually.
Yeah, I'm actually.
They're very few and far between now.
I'm quite shocked. I mean, largely, I'm shocked that anything other than Amazon is still around. To be honest, any brick and mortar store, aside from like your Targets and Walmarts and things like that, where it's also
those will always be fine.
It's also a grocery store, so they have that going for them. But
Targets and stuff will always be just fine. Targets and Walmarts basically, because Kmart obviously couldn't handle it. Because remember when Kmart was the big store? Kmart was the thing, and Targets were these little shit stores forever. Like we would never go to Target; we'd always go to Kmart, and then all of a sudden Kmart started turning into this really kind of seedy shit. Like you never knew if a Kmart was actually like open when you walked up to it because it was always dark inside.
I don't
remember.
You
go in, it's like, oh no, they just have half the lights off for some reason.
No, I don't remember this time when. I mean, I can't recall this. I don't remember going to a Kmart a lot. We went to Sears sometimes.
Well, those are doing great.
I know. I just remember when the whole Target store thing was so confusing because there was a Target, there was a Target Greatland, there was a Super Target, then there was, I think, even a fourth kind of Target. I think you can still find some Target Greatlands around there every once in a while.
Really?
Yeah. Why? I don't know.
What made it a Greatland? Like, what was the difference? I don't know what the difference between any Targets were. Target, Super Target, Target Greatland.
I don't know. I know that one of them, either Greatland or Super Target, I forget which one, but one of them was when they first started to introduce a little bit of groceries into the stores.
I think those were Super Targets.
Super Targets?
Because that would make sense for supermarket.
Right, yeah. So as far as what Greatland was, I honestly couldn't tell you what the difference would have been between a regular Target store and a Greatland. Maybe it was just bigger.
I honestly don't know why. Like, why make any sort of distinction between them? I guess I get it as far as like, oh, this is just a regular Target. This Target has a supermarket.
Well,
so that you could tell the difference, but it's like now they're all the fucking same anyways.
Yeah, now they're the same. At the time, I don't know. I guess it would just be like, hey, this particular Target has these things that another Target doesn't.
Yeah.
So it depending on how much traffic that drew in because of that distinction, that could justify them turning more Target stores into a Target Greatland, for example. It's all business, Matt. You wouldn't understand.
Yeah. I'm trying to see right now if I can figure out why it was Target Greatland versus.
Are you just on Wikipedia?
Well, no, I Googled it, and then somebody in some forum, somebody asked, "What's the difference between Target and Target Greatland?"
The first Target Greatland location.
Somebody said groceries, but I don't think that's going to be the answer.
Okay. No, the first one was in 1990. They were about 50% larger than traditional Target stores and pioneered company standards, including an increased number of checkout lanes and price scanners, larger aisles, expanded pharmacy and photography departments, and a food court. Target Greatland locations have since been converted to stores following the P-Fresh format beginning in 2009. The first Super Target hypermarket opened in Omaha, Nebraska in 95 and expanded upon the Target Greatland concept with the inclusion of a full grocery department. So,
yeah, they're saying they had like meat, bakery, deli, produce, and dairy, which I guess the other ones didn't have that. And I don't think they really have, for the most part, they don't really have that now. Like they don't have a big like meat, like you don't go up to a butcher at a Target.
No.
So maybe they had that for a while.
Maybe. I know that you can go up to, I think you can go up to the bakery department and you can order like birthday cakes and stuff still, like to be
that's still
made.
a thing.
But yeah, there's no.
That's about it for specialty shit at a Target now.
No, there's no going up to a deli and getting a certain type of meat in thin slices or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go to a fancier place than that for that type of stuff.
They do mostly all have liquor now, though.
That's true.
They used to never have liquor.
Yeah, so that didn't garner any type of a name change.
Yeah.
You know, Target Tipsy or Target Puke and Trash. Target drinking problem. Target Great Lick? What? Because of liquor.
Like liquor, yeah.
Gotcha. I'm like, you lick your alcoholic beverages?
Yeah.
Target Super Chug.
There you go.
Yeah. That's what it is.
I thought I was going to get at something here, but I lost it.
I also thought that.
No. Yeah.
Three.
I hope Targets stand the test of time forever, because I hate Walmart with a passion, and I would hate for Walmart to be the only option of those types of stores. I
mean, I go into Targets regularly, and there's always plenty of people in them, so I don't.
Oh yeah,
they're doing just fine. There was these particular.
You know which ones I hate?
What?
I hate the little fucking Targets. The ones that are just like the small version of Target. I'll every once in a while I'll be like, oh, let me see if there's a Target nearby. And then they're like, oh, there's one right over here. And then you pull up and it's one of those small ones. I'm like, fuck, it sucks, because they don't have half the shit you need.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty annoying. There's
a couple of those around where I am. And so sometimes I'll find myself begrudgingly going to those locations because that's what's closest to me at the time.
They're fine if they have what you're looking for, but if you're going for specific things that you can only get at a regular size Target, then
you're done.
Annoying.
You're done for. I mean, why don't they call those like, mini Targets, or or call the larger ones like Target Plus or something, where
or just Tar or Get. That was enough space.
Yeah. I feel like I've forgotten enough of that. Enough time has passed where I've forgotten what happened.
I said call it either Tar.
Yeah, well, I don't know why.
Get. We don't have to leave a gap again after that.
Anyway, what's I don't know, anything exciting planned for the 4th of July?
I don't know at this point. There's a potential we'll possibly do something. I have no idea. I somehow have Friday off. They came around, walking around everybody on last Friday and just like, hey, we're just going to be closed Friday. I'm like, what if I want to come in? And he said, I'll get you a key. I'm like, I already have a key. He's like, well, then you're good to go.
Are you going to go in?
So, no, God, no.
Well, I don't know.
I was just joking about wanting to be anytime they tell me anytime they tell me I can leave earlier, I don't have to come in a certain day. I always just say I'm gonna.
Oh,
I always act disappointed.
Oh,
it's my shtick.
Gotcha.
It's hilarious every single time.
Yeah.
You know how you sometimes just do or say the same stupid thing because it gets a chuckle, even though you know it's not funny at all?
Yeah. Well, you should try next time someone asks you, how's it going at work? You should say like, same shit, different day. Or you could say,
no,
huh?
fucking, I think I told you about when somebody said to me, working hard or hardly working.
Yes.
And I was like, I was so just like, I can't believe that just happened to me. I can die unhappy now.
It's unavoidable. The only way to avoid it is just to not talk to anyone at work.
Yep.
The only way,
or something scans on a thing or won't scan at a register. Oh, must be free. Kill me.
Yeah, I don't say that. I just go, yeah, this isn't ringing up for some reason. Do I need to get another one, or how do we do this?
Yeah.
And I do that for the employee. They don't need another person.
I don't feel like scanning this. Can I just have it?
Yeah, that's what I say. I say, I'm refusing to scan this, so I'm going to walk out of the store with it now. Please disable your alarms.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that won't set the alarm off. Oh, perfect. Then I'll be on my way. Thank you, red-shirted person.
Oh, this is Target specifically?
No, what? No. Oh. It's no, that's just, the employee was wearing a red shirt that day.
Oh, okay. Were you at the Coca-Cola factory?
Yeah. Yep.
I think they also wear red.
Yeah, that's where, because customers can just wander around and just grab bottles of soda when you're there.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, that's where they're the freshest, Fresh off the vine.
I don't think you know how soda works.
Well, I know how to drink it.
Okay.
And I've seen Vine videos of people drinking it. They were very short.
30 seconds.
Just about.
Wow, another thing that's dead. We're just talking about all sorts of dead things lately, huh?
Let's see.
Well, I do have one piece of news in the world of me.
Okay.
Found a new place.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So I don't remember if I talked about this last week or previous to that, any of the other weeks prior to that. But we got a letter saying that our building got bought out by a bigger company.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that all happened. So then we just so then they're like, okay, well we're gonna get stuff together, figure it all out, and then you guys will get information on new leases. So we'd have to sign a new 1-year lease. They sent an email saying on 1st of July, new information for new leases will be put out for at the beginning of July. So from that point, it's 120 days before they can actually put the leases into effect.
Sure.
So that they can raise the rent and do anything else that they want to do.
Right.
So basically, so that means that new leases would go into effect November 1st. So they would need to know by September 1st if we plan on staying here or not.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, okay, that gives us a little bit of time to get everything figured out. So we started kind of looking a little bit again, and then we found a place that we actually like. And so we put in the application, did all that stuff, and we officially signed the lease yesterday and gave it back to them. So we have a place. So we're going to move. So August 5th is the move-in date, which I hate because it's like, okay, well, if I have to be out of this place at the end of July, what am I going to do for 5 fucking days?
Right.
So luckily, I talked to the new building manager here and stuff. I'm like, okay, here's our situation. This is what's going on. Because she was like hounding us of like, hey, I need to come look at the apartment, see if there's anything that needs to be fixed so we can get pictures taken so we can get it up on the market right away.
Yeah.
We're like, wait. We've applied, but we haven't heard back if we got the place yet. So it was kind of a couple of days of limbo and stuff. Finally got it all figured out. So I called her. I'm like, okay, so here's the deal, blah, blah, blah. Move-in date's the 5th. So hopefully we can come up with something. And she's like, well, we can work with that. She's like, if you guys need to do like a mid-month thing, we can do that so that you guys have an overlap. I'm like, perfect. I was going to bring it up, but she brought it up, so I don't have to bring it up. She offered basically to do a mid-month. So I'm like, fuck yeah. So we're going to do a mid-month move out here, which gives us a nice overlap to get all of our shit moved over and then cleaning up and everything before we move.
Isn't it nice?
So I've been cleaning for the last 2 days because she's coming Monday to look at the apartment. So I'm like, let me make sure the apartment's presentable.
Isn't it nice when people are like reasonable and considerate?
Yeah, I was worried. Because, it was just a private owner of this building when we moved in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why we got lucky with the rent never raised, anything like that. The guy apparently kept very bad records of everything. That the new manager was telling me that. She's like, yeah, his record keeping was really bad. And she's like, you guys really had some great deal with the fact that he never touched your rent in the last 4 years. He's like, and she said, there's people in the building that are paying way less than you are. I'm like, I believe it. There's people that have been here for a long time. Like, I don't know. I don't know how long the other people were, but there was a guy that was living upstairs who had been living here for like probably almost 30 years. And if he hadn't passed away, he'd probably still be here. Yeah, he'd been here for 20 to 30 years, somewhere in there by the time we moved in. But he was basically like a shut-in who had a nurse come by every once in a while because he was so old.
Sure.
And then eventually one day he got taken out on a stretcher and he never came back. And then all of a sudden his apartment was up for rent. So, yeah, I can't imagine what he was paying. Almost nothing.
Wonder why it's called a stretcher. Doesn't stretch.
Yeah, the only thing it does is go up and down.
I mean, what's the difference between a stretcher and a gurney? Are they the same?
You'll have to Google it.
So anyway, you're going to move. That's exciting.
Yeah. So we found a new place. It's the neighborhood's not as walkable as this neighborhood. So it's not as nice in that aspect. There's still plenty of stuff around. We just have to, it's a little further walk or just a short little drive to places.
How far is it? A lot
closer to a Target.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How far is it?
From where you are now? Did you say that already?
No, it's about roughly 3 miles from where I'm at.
Oh,
now
it's the same. Pretty much the same place.
So it's basically, so I live just under 2 miles away from my job right now.
Okay.
So this place is south of my job, but it's just less than a mile away from my job.
Gotcha.
So I'm going further away from here, but I'll still end up being closer to my job in the end.
Yeah.
And then Iman will end up being closer to her job as well. So that part of it works out really nice. It's a 2-flat building. So basically, you remember like the place we were before this, that was a 2-flat. So it just had the first floor and the upstairs.
So you're on the main floor now?
We're on the first floor. It does have a basement, but it's not a finished basement. It's just, storage and utility stuff down there, I believe. It's a very similar setup to the place previous to this. So it's got like the living room, dining room, the 2 bedrooms on the side, kitchen in the back, bathroom in the middle. There's a back room that was an addition to the house. So that has like the staircase that goes upstairs inside, and then it goes downstairs and then down into the basement where we have our own personal washer dryer down in the basement. That's super nice. It's got central AC and forced air heat. There's a front sunroom, little porch kind of thing, which is really nice. And the kitchen's super updated. It's got a crazy stove. It's got a dishwasher, all sorts of nice goodies.
Wow.
And then I think the bedroom sizes are pretty comparable to the current bedroom sizes we have. So it's all pretty sweet. So it'll be nice.
So this will be your chance when you move to really do up your room for recording purposes. Get the look. Yes. Get the look you want.
Yep. I'm gonna get it, and the recording should sound better and everything too, because I think it's just a much more updated situation. And the bedrooms are carpeted, so that'll help with a little bit of sound reverberation as well. But yeah, I plan on really trying to get my setup correct and good. So yeah, that'll be basically the next month of my life, is just getting prepped and everything for that, packing, going through all of my shit and throwing a ton of stuff out, because I have boxes upon boxes of shit that I just need to go through and get rid of things. And yeah. So that's my life for the next month. That's what you get. That's what I'll be bringing to the table for the next month.
Great. So I forget, how long have you been at this place?
4 years.
And the last time you moved, did you really have time to go through and just like purge?
We threw a shit ton of stuff out. Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully there's not as much stuff to have to clear out.
I hope so. But we've also accumulated more shit in 4 years. That's like, all right.
Garlic press.
Oh, that's coming.
That's coming.
But there's certain things.
Like, no, I'm saying this is something else you've accumulated.
Oh, that's one particular thing. But yeah, there's certain things that we definitely won't be bringing with us. That we're gonna buy new stuff.
Montgomery,
get rid of. No, Sean, I'll get rid of my cats when you throw your dog in the garbage.
I will when she dies.
Well, then when your dog dies, then I'll think about getting rid of my cats.
Yeah, you were just about to say that when my dog dies, you'll somehow get rid of your cats when whatever means necessary.
No, I will not get rid of my cats. No, they'll just be, there's like our kitchen table, our dining room table and chairs. We're not going to bring those with us. We're going to get new stuff. And like, as far as big furniture, that's probably the main big thing we're going to throw out. And there's just little shit, like some of our kitchen stuff we'll probably replace and whatnot. But I mean, we will have a full dining room now too. So we'll kind of figure out what we're going to do with all that situation.
So you'll have a dining room, but you're going to get rid of the table you have that can occupy the dining room.
Yeah. We're going to get we'll buy a new dining room table and chairs probably.
Cool.
Or we'll do something else with that room altogether. I don't know yet. We've been throwing around ideas so far, but it's all fresh.
Could it be an office?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want an office in the middle of the living space.
I don't know. I don't know where it is. I don't know.
Well, like I said, it's similar to the previous place layout wise.
Previous place doesn't have a dining room, so what do I know?
The previous place had a dining room. The place that I lived in before the one I'm at now.
Oh, it's not like this one. It's the one before this one.
So it's similar to the previous place that you had visited as far as layout.
I'm trying to picture that place really.
Well, you walk in the front door, you're right in the living room, and then you go through the little archway thing into the big dining room, and then you go through a doorway that the bathroom was on the right side and the kitchen was in the back, and then all the bedrooms were on the left side of the apartment.
Yeah, probably.
That had two bedrooms and an office in that place. So this place is similar-ish in the fact that it has 2 bedrooms, but it has that front sunroom. So size-wise, it's very similar. So it's a little bit bigger than the place we're currently at, which is nice.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
More room for parties.
Yeah, I don't think we'll throw crazy parties because the landlords live upstairs. I mean, but I'm also, going to be 42 this year. I'm not really throwing fucking raisers. I'm having, you have people over and play games and just have a good time.
Party games.
Yeah.
That means it's a party.
Technically, yes. There's a backyard. We can grill.
Oh, you have a garden?
Technically, yeah.
British. English.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got the reference. Good job.
Thank you.
So, yeah. So that's what we're doing. That's the thing. That's the new thing. So I'll be spending a lot of weekends coming up just going through stuff and packing and whatnot.
Okay, you're suddenly from a different state.
Just rocking, rolling, and whatnot.
Okay, Daddy-O.
It's from the movie Grease.
Oh, speaking of Daddy-O, I'm not sure how long ago this happened, but we drove through Elk River this weekend, and that Daddy-O's Cafe is no more.
I don't recall Daddy-O's Cafe at all.
It was right on Main Street. It was just it had a red and white sort of sign, just an awning with the words Daddy-O's Cafe on it. Oh. It's just, now it says for sale, or, the space is for sale. So it's...
Oh, it's a new store called For Sale.
Yeah. It's for sale. They sell, everything's on sale.
They just sell for sale
sales.
signs.
They sell for sale signs and sales for boats, like sailboats.
Oh.
Oftentimes, the sales are on sale.
So it's like for sale boats. Got it.
For sailing, it'll say.
Mm.
Like these things are for sailing. These things are not for sailing, but they are on sale. But also the stuff that's for sailing is on sale, but it's a different sale. It's not as much off as the stuff that's not for sailing.
Right.
And then sometimes you go in there for some forced ailing. Like they will force ailing on you, but you ask for it.
I don't like this conversation.
That was some ailing that was forced on you. Did you visit the store? I thought you said you didn't know about it.
I said I didn't know about Daddy-O's.
Right, but this is the space that now occupies Daddy-O's.
Right, but I'm familiar with for sale.
So you've been to Elk River very recently?
It's a chain.
It's a chain.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere in the country.
Oh, okay. How come we never went to one when I visited?
Because we have no reason to go to a for sale.
Why? Stuff's on sale there. Sometimes there are sales.
Yeah, because it's stuff that we wouldn't buy.
Like what
we
else?
Don't sale.
Yeah, but what else do they have? Well, you said that there's stuff for sailing, but then there's other stuff. What's the other stuff? That's not.
You said you were the one who was talking about how there was all a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, but then you agreed that this store existed and you know of it and you've been to one. So
I've never said I've been to one. I said I knew of it.
Well, then how do you know that the stuff that they sell
it doesn't exist?
How do they know that how do you know that the stuff that they sell that's not involved with sailing is anything you wouldn't need or want if you haven't been there?
Because I assume based on the store itself that it's all about sales.
Gotcha. So you're shutting down the possibility of us ever going there to look around because you're making an assumption that you won't need anything in the store.
You can go there if you want to go there. I'm not saying you can't go there.
But the argument or the reason, according to you, that we never went there when I visited was because we don't need anything that they sell. When in fact,
never went there because nobody brought up wanting to go to that store, so we just never went to it. I wasn't gonna hey, should we go check out this store, guys?
Look, I didn't know this place existed until recently when it replaced Daddy-O's.
There you go. So next time when you come to town, we can go.
Well, why would I do that? I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to go to Elk River and go to that one.
Well, then go that one.
I will, and I'll tell you about all the lovely things they have that I can buy that are not related to sailing.
Next week,
I'm not going there next week.
On next week's episode, I want you to tell me all about it.
I'm not going there that soon.
Why not?
I don't know when I'll be in Elk River next.
You seem very into the idea of wanting to go to this store. I'm surprised you're not clamoring to go there now.
Look,
other than the fact that you have to go get your blanket.
Look, I do need to do that. Look,
your blankie.
My 2 blankets. I washed 2 of them.
Blankies.
I'm not going to go to Elk River specifically and solely to visit that store. The next time I find myself going to Elk River, I will make a point to stop in that store. But I'm not going to right now hop in the car and just bolt straight over to for sale.
Whatever.
Is it called Force Ale? I think it is, right?
You told me it was called For Sale. These are 2 different stores.
I might have said Force Ale though.
You said Force Ale later.
Yeah, I read the sign wrong.
So you were saying For Sale, but then you said For Sale.
When I looked at the sign, I switch letters around in my brain. I think I had a head injury and I can't recognize phone numbers anymore.
Right. So you switched letters around
and added some
from the alphabet, not from the sign.
Yeah, I replaced some of the letters that are really on the sign with other letters of the alphabet to fit the mistaken name of the store that I had in my head.
Right.
I think that girl I gave my number to works there.
I was trying to remember how to tie it back to what we talked about earlier, and I couldn't remember what it was. The fact that you got there helped me out.
I did it, yeah. I did it. I'm the one who did it, so.
Yeah. You both have a beautiful mind.
Yay, me. And us. You're us.
Am I? Am I still that? I am. Couldn't remember if I still had that there.
You seem to always have it there. I sometimes do and I sometimes don't. With the them.
It's just there. I don't change it.
Well, I have to since I'm a guest quote on these sessions, I have to put my name in every time. I'm not logged into Squadcast to have my stuff saved. So sometime when I'm downloading stuff, I have accidentally joined a session to record while still being logged in, and it automatically puts Matt up in the name, and I'm like, this is going to screw things up. So I always exit the session and log out.
It would.
Well, because remember that time I jokingly named myself Matt, and there was potentially some kind of problem with the file.
It goofed something up.
Yeah. So
I don't remember what it did, but it did something weird.
Yeah. So I'm avoiding that by making sure I log out before I join a session.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it would just
might have
change
been
my
some
name.
Weird unrelated glitch.
Possibly. But I don't want to attempt to recreate the problem.
Oh no, yeah, let's not do that because that's the end of my sentence.
Okay. Well, that's how sentences work if you're brain dead. All right. So, I think next time, you know what we should do?
What? I'm always up for ideas.
You know how you jot down the stuff we talked about, and it's great.
Yeah.
And that's part of the episode description. You know, this is a high school themed podcast. We're very heavily pushing the high school theme.
Yeah.
Like for example, today I would have instructed the students, as they are called, to turn their textbooks to page 188. You know, because what if we have a quiz at the end? Maybe it's something we could do if we have a guest on, but we quiz them at the end about what we talked about. It's not quite the same as that I literally just told you, but you know, it's something.
I mean, do you want me to quiz you on what we talked about?
No, not right now.
Okay.
I just gave you this idea, so I don't want
to
put you on the spot.
I mean, I don't know how I'm going to. How do I quiz you? I just say, "Hey, what did we talk about?"
No, but you could say
and
like,
then you have to go down the list.
Let's say I mentioned something specifically at the beginning that's catches you, and you jot it down. And you go, okay, what did you say about? This is a bad idea. As I'm already trying to hash it out.
I'm literally sitting here like, how is this going to work?
But again, this is initial like kernel idea. We have to go through the brainstorming process and flesh it out. It'll be good. We'll make it good before we implement it into before we integrate it into the show. Of course, we always do that. So yeah, it's not going to be like the example we just tried to put forth here because that was a dumpster fire. We crashed and burned because the dumpster was being used as a vehicle.
How long ago did you meet that girl that you gave your number to?
I think I said it was 10 years ago.
Good job.
Oh, is that the quiz? Okay, good. All right. Got any more for me? Keep them coming. I'll answer any question you throw at me.
Where did you buy your shirt?
The one I'm wearing? J. Crew Factory.
Oh, you said outlet earlier.
Well, it's factory outlet. It's the same thing. I think it might actually.
But I have to go with what you said.
Well,
so I can only give you half points on that one.
I might have even said factory outlet earlier.
I didn't hear it that way.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I can always check back when I edit this in 3 months.
It's true, but you're gonna start using my audio, so maybe I'll just cut it out.
You will not do that.
You would be surprised what I would and wouldn't do.
I wouldn't even notice what you cut out because I don't even listen right away anymore. So I don't even. By the time I'm editing an episode, I don't remember what parts are there and what aren't there.
Well, but we're now heavily talking about it, so you might then be like, yeah,
but you might cut. You might cut the last 8 minutes or whatever out of this, and it's all gone. I've never cut chunks that big out. There's a first time for everything. What if you went on some like 9-minute racist rant?
Oh, I would have stopped.
What if you went Michael Richards on us and you just went off on some? Well, that's just me and you here, but yeah. You just went off. You lost it, and then you wish you could like take those moments back. You have the power. Of course. If hypothetically I ever went on a racist rant, I wouldn't post it. Right. That's what I'm saying. There's a first time for everything where you might be in a position where you're cutting out a huge chunk of audio.
That would literally never happen.
I know, but I'm just giving an example of when you would take out a large chunk of the podcast.
But I wouldn't, because I would never say it.
But if you did, you would. We can all agree there. But if you did.
But I wouldn't, so I won't.
Yeah, you can say you wouldn't, but I guarantee Michael Richards
I never will.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm sure Michael Richards was like, yeah, one day I'm going to blow up on stage and say certain words over and over again and get myself hated.
So in that particular situation, somebody who's willing to go that far and say those words has said those words in the past.
Sure.
He was way too comfortable dropping the N-word.
Yeah, maybe just not
to get a reaction.
Publicly. Yeah.
Whereas somebody like me would absolutely never drop the N-word in anger or in happiness or sadness or any emotion. Especially not happiness. That'd be a weird reason to do it.
Look what I got today.
But yeah, the N-word will never leave my mouth for any reason, especially not in some sort of a rant.
Trust.
Because using hate speech in anger is like, that's literally, there's no coming back from that. Because that's just who you are at that point. Be like, oh, well, he got mad and he started dropping the N-word. That's the type of person he is. That is a racist person.
Mm-hmm.
They are done.
Mm-hmm. But because I don't even like when non-black comedians use the N-word in jokes, and people are like, "Oh, it's okay to do that because this and that, and this is why the joke works because they said it." And it's just like, no, there's literally still no reason for them to say that word. No. Yeah, I know there isn't. What a note to end on.
Well, you got it here.
Look,
see, I'm angry and ranting and not saying the N-word. Look at this, Sean.
Yeah,
you're getting this rant out of me, and I'm keeping it in. I'm not going to edit it out because I haven't said anything bad.
It's interesting that I just said racist rant.
Mm-hmm.
Full stop. No, nothing specific about it, and that's where you went.
Everybody knows that's the one. That's the highest. That's the highest level you can go.
Everyone knows if you're going to do it, that's the one you do. If you're going to go for it, that's going to be the most impactful. Do that one.
Sean Tattoo 2024. Let's put that quote out there. Everybody knows if you're going to have a racist rant, the N-word's the one you're going to do.
That's the one to do. All right. Well, I guess,
any racist rant is bad, but the N-word's the one that's the quickest on the radar. Yeah,
and that's not fair. We should treat all racist rants equally, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's kind of racist to not.
That's what I'm saying.
So get in the comments, put your best racist rants down in the comments.
What's the next question? J. Crew Factory Outlet.
Oh, here's a good one. What'd you do in your improv classes?
Oh, shoot. Do I have to name off everything I said?
No. See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. No, get out of here. Let's get out of here.
If you have a question, complaint, or threat for Sean or Matt, you can reach us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, X, or Instagram at hsfamouspod, or you can email the show at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. No animals were pleasured during the making of this podcast, despite our best efforts. All hail our Lord and Savior.
Well, that's how sentences work if you're brain dead.